Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the FPL Pubcast, where we will be tonight previewing game week 23. Joining me, we've only got three of us tonight, but two of the best and me. Joining me first of all is Trig. Trig, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, fantastic. Really looking forward to this one. Been a bit of an up and down week with FPL, but I'm now refocused on next week and looking forward to it.
And Darius, how are you, mate? You were on a big high this weekend, but have you come down at all?
Yeah, I came down a little bit on Monday when Bart Simpson. That was disappointing, but yeah, happy days. I actually don't think that it's possible for the season to get any better than the peak moment on Saturday, when literally one of the calls have been so fundamentally adamant about, delivered on my call perfectly.
Did you see what he said in his video, Trig? He said his best moment of the season so far was watching me and Kanji lose our penalty when Szoboszlai missed it, even though he had nothing to do with his team. That's love for you, isn't it, Trig? So tonight we're going to have a look at how we got on in game week 22. We're going to have a little bit of a look at the minute, because I think people are thinking about climbing the ranks. We're not in the last embers of the season yet. We're not quite in the final run-in, but we're not far away. People think like tip strategies and that. So we're going to have a look at the difference between the ranks and how we should be using or not using our free transfers, and whether or not we should be taking hits to try and get up those ranks. Then we'll preview the game week. We're going to talk about a few things like whether or not Haaland is a sell. We'll have a look at our differentials, and then what we plan to do for game week 23. So just have a quick say hello to people in the chat. Hello, Cohen. Hello, Clayton. People with 5 City players watching Bodo highlights need counselling. You guys know what that means? Rob Taff, Andrew Barton, I1974, Claire FPL, Dan, Matt Halame, and Erkan. Okay, all right. So we'll go through. Oh, and please do like the stream to help get it out there, and subscribe if you're new around here. So as usual, we go through with through the teams from how we got on last week from best to worst. Trig, I'm afraid to say, is bottom of the pile this week with 36 points, which I guess is a red arrow down to 138k. Trigger's got Sanchez with 11, very nice return there. Gabriel with 8, Lacroix 1, Virgil 2, Anderson 2, Cherky Foden 1, Saka 1, Rice 3, Haaland 4, Thiago 2, and then Anderson and Tarkowski on the bench with 5 and 8, and Dubravka. Almost could have been a bench boost, Craig, that couldn't it?
Yeah, well, I think we've got to expect this now, haven't we, with the way our teams are set up. I mean, lots of people had Dorgu on the bench, and it's very tight, isn't it, with the defenders, with the DEFCONs? I mean, you never know which one's going to get the most points, so it's quite tricky. We've got to get used to having points on the bench, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually considering this week, and I did terrible. My bench did terribly. Did it?
Yeah. No, I was kind of expecting a red arrow this week because I don't have any Liverpool attackers, so I was quite happy in a way that it's quite a small red arrow. I think I'm only like 6 points off a green arrow, so it could have been a lot worse if I didn't own Sanchez. But I found it quite a depressing game week, this one. I think it was because all my players are out on the Saturday and I'd finished, and then there was 2 days left of games where annoying things happened in those last 2 games. I mean, the 1 week where everybody gets Tavernier in is the 1 week where he gets a penalty. That was annoying. It's a pity he didn't get his hamstring first before he took his penalty. But Szoboszlai missing was a highlight, so I got away with one, really. I'm feeling like I got away with it because Thiago did nothing. Not Thiago, sorry, Ekatike. So it was a bit of a strange week, wasn't it? All the midfielders are failing, and
it's annoying when you have all your players play on Saturday, because you can only go down, really, can't you? You can't go up.
I hated it. Honestly, it felt like the worst game week I've ever had in that sense, in terms of enjoyment, because 2 whole days with no players. and you don't want to watch the games because like you've got no one in them. You know, other people have got like Verbruggen. It's actually quite good Tavernier scored because I think it would have been much worse had Verbruggen kept a clean sheet. But Darius would have liked that though, wouldn't he? But but the Everton one as well, you know, I mean, the only player I had was on the bench. And for him to keep a clean sheet, it's like sometimes FPL rubs your nose in it. Do you know what I mean? It's like it can be a really hard game mentally to cope with when things like that happen. I mean, Anderson lost his clean sheet in the last minute. He was on for a 10-pointer. And it's just, you know, I mean, it's variance, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Glad that week's finished.
You had Tarkowski on the bench still, didn't you, Darius?
Yeah, but like I was never playing. I had Tarkowski firmly last on the bench because, like, in theory, Everton away at Villa. Villa in an amazing form. Like, you're not going to sit there and expect Tarkowski to keep a clean sheet. But they did. I mean, like and I think this comes into it. Like there was something I wanted to raise. Now, apparently, I won't actually check this because I don't always trust what Mark Goldbridge comes out with. But there's been 17 0-0 draws in the Premier League this season, up to game week 23.
Right, I saw that. Yeah.
There was only 16 0-0 draws in the entire season last season. Like, so that's telling us a couple of things. First, the defense, even the attacks are just completely misfiring, and the football that's being produced is just not working this season, which, based on what a lot of the games I've watched this year, I would agree that it's been a lot more defensively minded. It's all about set pieces and second balls rather than actual good attacking football. And I think that's, unfortunately, it's taken, like, because it's been so long the other way, where you've always invested in midfield and attack, trying to readjust to the fact that the Premier League this season, in terms of like actual goals going in and attacking returns, is way down on what it's usually been. That's been the hard bit. And like for me, I'm still playing 3 defense every week. I'm like, I really want to play. I need to start playing more defenders because the defenders are where all the points are. And again, I think that just goes to show you. And like Tarkowski, if I look at the team now, I'm like going, you know what? I should have just played him like over one of the midfielders because he's probably on track for 4 points most weeks.
There's an article on Sky Football today about strikers not scoring many goals. It's a fantastic article. So go to Sky Football after this and check it out, people. And it shows, it's got lots of graphics that defenders are better at defending. There's more players in the box when strikers, they're competing with their own defenders for goals. And football has fundamentally changed this season. And if you've been successful at this game playing the usual way, then it's even harder for you than for casuals. They're more likely to switch quicker because they just do whatever. Whereas for us, it's quite a hard thing to suddenly abandon the likes of Saka and Foden and all these sort of players and to play 5 at the back. It's not psychologically, it's tough, isn't it? But I think we need to start doing that sort of thing now.
Well,
it's interesting.
If you had so for example, moving forward, you could have, let's say, double Arsenal defense is probably going to be pretty mainstay because the fact it's so good. Elite, like they're just elite in terms of actually keeping clean sheets, which obviously does beat the DC points. Then you could easily have like double Arsenal defense, maybe even triple if you wanted, or like a Chalobah, a Tarkowski, and say, I look off the top of my head, you could easily have a back 5 like that, and they're probably going to spit you out on average, regardless of clean sheets or whatever, 20 points every week. And that's going to be more than the one the midfielders, generally speaking, have been doing this year, and let alone the 4 outside of Haaland. So like it's crazy. It's a very different season to previous. And as I said, I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago when we were on here, I was like going, I'm intrigued to know what they do with pricing next year. Because in theory, I feel like the DC, I don't think they ever expected the football to go the way it's gone this season and DC to be king. And how the hell they get it right for the start of next year without just removing it and back to square one? I've got no idea. Because I don't understand where they're going to go. Because I feel like people that have been like the DC people like this season, like in the midfield, for example, like James Garner, Saka, all these players that are ridiculously low priced, they should be more expensive than the likes of Saka and Foden that have just not been business done.
The thing is, they put up the top ones, didn't they? Like Tarkowski and Murillo, the guys who really did well, but they didn't. They needed to nerf all of the defensive players, really, didn't they?
Yeah. And the other thing is they changed the bonus system to favour defenders in the season where defenders don't even need any encouragement. It's the strikers that need help. And so we're going to have to look at it, I think. Trouble is, if they change it all back and then the football goes back to previous seasons, it's difficult.
It won't be complaining the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to my team. Right, I'm gonna psych myself up a little bit here. So anyone who may have seen Darius, he may have celebrated slightly me and Kanji's Dominic Szoboszlai intelligent FPL review pick going slightly wrong with the missed penalty. But then, and he did, and he made a big deal of it. He even replayed it in his video on Monday. But then Monday night shows comes around, ladies and gentlemen. FPL review, it didn't influence me to pick him, obviously, but strongly, as well as Solio, suggested a certain Marcus Tavernier. And what does he do? In he comes with his penalty, the cherry on top of the cherries, the Messi of the South Coast. What a penalty. What a man. Screw you, D-Unit. Review rules, he says. And unfortunately, then he did pick up his hamstring injury. So a get well soon card from everyone on the podcast. Well, from me anyway. From me, Kanji and Roberto. Darius and Trigger probably sending him evil eyes. But yeah, that's my revenge. Yes, this is my take for this week. 45 points. So I actually ended up, after all the bloody Saturday night, I actually ended up on a very, very small green arrow because of Tavernier. I think like 2 or 3 points. So 45 points, up to 125k. Kelleher 1. Arsenal double defense coming in again. Gabriel 8. Timber 5. Hall's the other star on my side this week with 9 points. Enzo, I know Trig said he was terrible. It was my transfer in. I don't care if he's terrible. He got 6. He got me an assist. Tavernier 8. Szoboszlai, of course, with 0. Foden 1. Saka 1. Thiago 2. Haaland 4. I've got to be honest, lads. I really, really was pleased with this game week because after Saturday, when I absolutely felt terrible, I don't mind Darius winding me up, but it was an abject, abysmal weekend, and then to somehow come out of it with a green arrow, even if it's just the tiniest one, is quite nice. You know what I mean? But Darius, any reply there to my touche with Marcus Tavernier?
To be honest, it was really funny. So before that game happened, I was actually going to write the next post going, how difficult would it be for Bart Simpson to also nerf the other review pick this week? And then when he actually, when I saw it, I was like, God, I do wonder whether the only reason VAR intervened is because it wasn't a yellow card. Because, outside of that, it wasn't a clear and obvious error. I mean, the error was obviously him getting booked for...
because he wiped out your clean sheet as well. I forgot about that for Bruggen, didn't
he? But it wasn't so much that. I wasn't expecting Bart Simpson to keep a clean sheet, to be honest. Once Sanchez had kept the clean sheet, I was like, I expected Bournemouth to score. I thought that I actually thought that Brighton at one point, I thought they were going to be exceptionally unlucky to lose that game to that goal because, I mean, the dude was already in the air on the way down. It's just pure luck that he somehow hit Bart Simpson's foot more than anything else. I think the only reason why the VAR intervened is because of the fact that, it wasn't a yellow card. He should never have been booked for diving because it wasn't, in theory, by the letter of the law, it's not a dive, but I also think it's probably one of the softest penalties I've seen given from VAR this season as well. But then when he got there, I was like, here we go. Bart Simpson, this is the moment. And I was like, and he went very close. Mark Tavernier took a really good penalty, but Bart Simpson actually went the right way. He was, if he'd hit it any weaker, Bart would have saved it. So it was a good penalty. But then, unfortunately, and this is the problem, anyone that looks at review picks, they don't, and Trig mentioned it on his video that I listened to on the way down to Perth today. They don't mention their injury records. And Mark Tavernier's injury record is really bad. He doesn't string many games together before he does a hamstring. And he's just done a hamstring. So in reality, is he actually a good pick? maybe not. Maybe he's going to come back. Maybe he's going to miss a few games. We don't really know. I mean, he did look pretty good outside of the penalty anyway, until obviously he did his hamstring. But I think with the Bournemouth squad and the fact that, he's played a lot of minutes, I'd be concerned that he comes back too quickly and just re-injures it. So for me, I think I'm happy to see the Tavernier boat just pass me by, I think.
Bournemouth have signed a new winger today from Brazil, Rayan, 5.5 million. If you've played Football Manager, you will know all about him. Fantastic on
He's a wonder kid.
He's a wonder kid from Brazil, and
always brilliant.
But apparently he's pretty good. So he's the new Semenyo replacement. They paid 30 million for him, so he's going to be coming in. He's a right winger / forward striker, so he's going to have goals in him. So he could be quite interesting at only 5.5 million. So Bournemouth are pretty good at replacing players, aren't they? So we're going to have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, Clapton Cheeks is saying something that I was just thinking. Croupier Gooney wanted to take the penalty. Do we have any idea if he might be on them now? Because that would make him I know Bournemouth are losing players left, right, and centre, but whatever he costs, 4.7 or whatever he is at now, that'd be interesting.
Probably will be penalties.
Yeah,
he's one of them players, and I hate to break to anyone that's already gone there, but he's a better player when he plays on the bench. He scores more of his goals when he comes off the bench. You're actually better off if Groupie Jr. starts on the bench, because I think I could be wrong. Of his 7 goals he's scored, I reckon there's only 2 that have come from when he's been a starter. I reckon the other 5 have come off the bench. Now, he reminds me a little bit of Garnacho in his first season at Man United. He was woeful every time he started, but bring him off the bench, he always got a goal or assist. So I feel like Groupie's one of them ones. If you see him starting, don't get your hopes up for more than 2 points. If he starts on the bench, that's when you can get a little bit giddy, I reckon, because I reckon he comes on at the end of the games because he's so fresh and he's young. He's quicker and he takes advantage at the end of the game, whereas at the start of the game he's on an even keel of everyone else, and I reckon that's Croupie's problem.
Do you reckon? I can't remember what I was going to say there. Trig, help me out. My blind just got completely blank.
I don't know. I've not got a clue what you're going to say.
Also, I don't know if Gary was mentioning this, but the new players being brought in by Bournemouth probably are going to put Croupie Jr. back on the bench. So, I want people wanting to go there, but I just don't understand. You want people that are going to play, and if you're going to go bench boost, you want them to actually be on the field for most of the game, I would have thought.
That's what I was going to say. Didn't he get a hat trick? Did he get off the bench then? I'm sure he got a hat trick earlier in the season.
No, he got a brace, I think, didn't he?
Did he? I was convinced he got a hat trick. Anyway, shall we move on? Maybe the chat can tell us. Shall we move on to Darius's team? He had a very good week. Top of the pile, 56 points, which I'm assuming a season high 1.4. Darius?
Yeah, that's the highest. I mean, I just sat there and I was like, this is another example why you should always do what you originally think at the start of the week. Because at the start of the week, I was on double Chelsea defence, and if it wasn't for the bloody Carabao Cup and me watching that, I would have never have changed it. But I changed it based on the fact that Rosner did some weird stuff, and I was like, I just want to.
Can you read through it, Darius, for anyone listening?
Oh yeah. So we had Bart Simpson. Unfortunately, that was the dud call. Bart Simpson for 2 points and Sanchez is 11 on the bench. I had Gabriel captain with a nice 16 points there, showing that the Haaland captainers need to start thinking about their teams a bit more. Mukiele 6 points, Chalobah 8 points, Vert and as the vice. Bruno G with 3, Rice with 3, Wilson with 2, Foden disappointing with 1, Bowen with 3, Haaland with 2. And on the bench outside of Sanchez's 11, I had Thiago 2, O'Reilly -1, so I called that one right. And Tarkowski firmly last on the bench, but he was never starting with that team I've got. So, 8 points there, but it is what it is. But 20 points. Again, my bench booster just goes to show how unlucky I was when I played it, because every week I'm racking up double figures on the bench. And then the 1 week I played it, I got 4 points. It's just it baffles me how that just worked out. But yeah,
Trick, you watch FPL Harry? Did he have a bench? I think I saw a video. I think it was Harry or someone had 40 points on the bench or something. Maybe a chat can tell us.
Yeah,
there was one of the big content creators.
Harry,
I think he had Dorgu and Tarkowski and a few others on his bench. But I mean, like I said, that's going to happen this season because we've all got 14 decent players. If most of us have got Guehi. But yeah, you always get, especially with defenders, because it's hard to know when they're going to keep the clean sheets. And apparently Everton get them in the away games this season.
That's right.
So not so good at home when you're more likely to probably play them. So it's a bit tricky.
You're a bit ahead there with Chalobah. I think
my line of thinking was, and like I know that people are looking at Chelsea assets. All along I said to Trig at the start of the season, Chalobah's the most nailed asset in the Chelsea team. Like he hasn't missed a game all season, other than when obviously Santos got him sent off for that hospital pass he gave him. But outside of that, Sanchez has also pretty much been the mainstay. So I was like, Chelsea's defensive numbers, yes, they haven't been amazing in terms of actual XGC, but they're fluking their way to clean sheets. And at the end of the day, that's the aim of the game if you're a defender. So, yeah, I just figured they were the two best, and I'm happy to rock them, especially for the next 5 weeks anyway.
He's due for another goal as well, isn't he?
I haven't got this in the discussion points, but if you were a wild card now, which, as our Chelsea expert, which 3 Chelsea would you have? If you'd have 3 Chelsea.
Chalobah. Outside of that, it's difficult. I mean, I guess you're going to get Enzo because everybody else is, but I mean, he's not fantastic. But yeah, Chalobah probably, Sanchez, and if I was wildcarding, I'd only wildcard to get Palmer in, I suppose. So Palmer would probably be in, but I don't think that would guarantee you doing well, particularly. But we shall see.
Do you think Ganacho gets lots of minutes? You think Ganacho gets a lot of minutes over the next 5 games?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, there are going to be games where he only gets half an hour, but there might be the games where he gets the points. But he wasn't great in the last match. He got hooked pretty early, didn't he? Neto's still a good option, I think, as well, if you want Chelsea. But, I mean, there are alternatives to Chelsea, aren't there? You don't have to have 3 Chelsea.
Part of me was thinking for the next 5 weeks is that you could get triple Chelsea defence. I know it sounds ridiculous, but in reality, I feel like Chalobah and Sanchez both nailed, and then I feel like you could easily punt on a Cucurella and expect him to start most of the games. And I'm like, going, that feels pretty safe. Like, you know that they're going to show up, and if Cucurella is starting, he's playing 90 minutes. You're not worrying about them. He's going to come off after 60. So, like, part of me is like, that could be a better way of looking at it because defense is where all the points have been.
It's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea. I mean, you might not get Arsenal-level clean sheets, but you could get quite a few attacking returns from Cucurella and Chalobah.
Do you know what puts me off? Would put me off going triple Chelsea is once they've had those really good fixtures. It's not like they then go into a sort of a medium fixture run. It's like 3 pretty difficult fixtures. You're going to want to get off. You know what I mean? I'm not sure dribbling up would be worth it. I don't know.
That's why I don't think they're worth ripping your teams up for to get 3 of them in when after 4 games, their fixtures are terrible, aren't they? And they've got Champions League as well and rotation. So maybe the defenders are the best bet in that they're going to play more matches. Tosin's out injured now as well, isn't he? So he's another central defender gone. But they are looking at some French guy, but apparently he might not come into the end of the season now. So.
See, I don't think the Chelsea's fixtures are that. I know they're not as easy as the 5 they got coming up, but long term, like there's no teams are in form this season. Like no one's in winning form. Like I don't think it actually matters who they're playing. They've just as much chance of getting points as if they're playing Burnley or if they're playing Man City at the moment. It's not like legit, and Man City is second. And Burnley are second last, but you've got just as much chance of getting a win versus Burnley as you do Man City at the moment, which I think kind of sums up the season in itself in a nutshell, really.
Been a crazy season, hasn't it?
Should
we move on, lads? Go on, Trig.
No, I've forgotten what I was going to say now.
We're all forgetting. Shall we move on to have a look? So I just thought I'd put this in because I said at the start, we are starting to get, not towards the end of the season, but when we start focusing in on, double game weeks and stuff, I just wanted to have a brief look at the differences between the ranks. So I'm not going to read all of these out. So obviously this table is ordered. This is from live FPL around my rank, which is around 100,000. But I'll just read out the main one. So the difference between number one and 1K, which I'm sure most of our listeners are around there, is about 90 points. Right, that's quite severe. But the difference between 1 and 10K, 1K and 10K is about 40. 10K and 100K is about 50. But then once you start getting between 100K and 200K, 200K, 300K, 300K, 400K, it really goes down to like 10 points between positions. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the difference between 1 million and 500K, it's 30 points. It's not even 10 points each. So it really is quite tight. I mean, Trig, what do you... I mean, you're the most seasoned manager. Do you reckon this is tighter than it usually would be at this stage? It feels...
No, not really. It's always... I mean, I noticed during the week, like halfway through a game week, I might be 50K or whatever, or 200K during the game week. So there are massive swings. And what always interests me is that there's a bigger gap between 1,000 and 1 than there is between 100K and 1,000. So the actual gap at the top is much higher. And that's what I found when I was right at the top, is you can be like really good rank, but you're still miles away from being number one. There's not nearly 100 points between the guy who's in 1,000th and the guy who's at number one. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, anything less than 100 at this stage, I think, is doable, isn't it? If you're at 1 million, you've got a good chance of 100K. But once you get down to even 2 million is only 107 points. Anything above that, you need to start selling Haaland ASAP, although maybe we all do, actually.
I mean, difference for anyone listening, difference between like 2 million, 3 million, 3 million, 4 million, just like 30 points. Not even hardly anything in it at all. Darius, as a lower rank manager, should I say, this must give you some confidence, mate. You can come back and catch the likes of myself and Trig.
Well, yeah, as I said, I just keep seeing your team, and I'm like, oh, I can hunt that down. Like, I'm very confident I can hunt that down over the course of now and the end of the season, because I'll be picking picks that are very different to what Gary's picked. I mean, like, there's no way in the world I'll end up with a Szoboszlai in my team. So there'll be a few more red herrings that Gary manages to get on his.
You're Captain Dallo,
when he pushes. By the way, Dallo captain. If I'd kept on captaining Dallo since that moment, I'd actually be beating Haaland captains. Like that. That's how bad Haaland's been. Like, he has not returned since I captained Dallo, and Dallo matched him in the week I captained him. And since then, Haaland's blanked, and Dallo's obviously got the clean sheet, hasn't he? So Diogo Dallo, the GOAT, is outmatching the Haaland, which is just ridiculous when you think about it on every single level. But it is what it is at the moment.
Yeah. All right. So I put with this in mind that everything is quite tight, and obviously now we haven't got the luxury of 5 transfers. I put these in as 2 before we get on to look at the game week. The value of the free transfer and our hits worth taking, right? So I'm gonna with a little bit of a story with this one, right? So obviously we all got given our 5 free transfers earlier in the season. You guys might remember I had about 3 or 4 transfers before then. I was almost wanted to get rid of them. You know what I mean? I just wanted. It was almost like they were burning a hole in my pocket. And the last 3 weeks, all I wish is that I had rolled, you know what I mean? I had them saved up. So we'll tackle the first question and then we'll go to hit second. Craig, what do you think the value is? Say you've got a transfer that you could make this week, but it's not essential, or you could roll. What do you think the value's in? Where is the value at the moment in terms of your overall rank?
Well, it's a difficult question to answer, really. I mean, everybody's got different styles of playing. Some people are good at taking hits, other people aren't. And but I think generally you want to be quite cautious at this stage. I mean, a lot of people have been, haven't they, trying to create transfers for game week 24 for the supposed swing that's happening in 24. And you know, it's they're quite valuable transfers, I think. And you see a lot of people just making sideways moves a lot of the time. You know, they'll either make moves through fear or just sideways. You know, someone might have annoyed them, so they get rid of them and replace them with somebody else who's like not really any better. So should try and treat them like gold dust, I reckon, the transfers at this stage of the season.
Yeah. How about yourself, Darius? You've obviously got, and I'll bring in you in it. Well, I'll say my take on hits is unless I think they're going to pay off that week, I very rarely take them because they just don't generally pay off for me. They do work. I mean, the one I took a few weeks ago did actually work out, but generally they don't work out for me. But Darius, you have a very different view, don't you, mate?
Yeah, well, I as I said to Nightmare, like Nightmare ended up getting the green arrow. That was mainly because of the fact I think he
Well, he
joined
took a -8, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, don't captain Haaland. He's doing nothing this week. And I was bang on. And I think that covered his -8 because Gabriel pretty much covered the points that he lost on the hit. So I think if you're going to do a hit, and I've always said it's got to make a lot of sense. And most of the time, it can't involve a goalkeeper because the upside on moving a goalkeeper for a hit is you've got to get exceptionally lucky for that to pay off. And any given week, in reality, it's probably not going to pay off. So as long as that's not part of your hit, I actually don't mind them. And like I've taken, I think there's 8 weeks this season I've taken a hit, and 7 out of the 8 have been green arrows and significant green arrows. The one I obviously got wrong, that was when I was getting the hair done. So that was obviously that obviously.
But was that because of the hit or in spite of the hit?
No, I think it was just because of the fact I was in such a rush, and I was like, I saw the prices are changing, and there were certain players.
No, sorry, man. I just mean in general, have you been getting those green arrows because of the hit, or like you've been getting away?
Oh yes, 100%. I've looked at some of the hits I've made this season. I brought in Daniel Munoz on a hit, and he got a 15-pointer that week. I brought in Bruno G, and he obviously delivered in the week I brought him. I brought in Wirtz as well. Like I've brought in plenty of players on hits that have just banged straight out the gate. So like when that happens, the hit's nothing. Like you literally just swallow it straight off the bat, and you're normally in front because all it takes is for that bloke that you've won to score a goal. You've covered the hit and then some. And as long as your player you sold didn't do anything. In fact, I think there's only been one player I've sold all season that's burnt me on the week I've sold him, and that was Chalobah. And that's because I can't remember why I sold him. It was for someone else. But that one did not pay off, and I ended up getting him back because I was like, I regretted making that move almost as soon as I'd made it. But outside of that, yeah, I feel like at the moment though, I'm like my team's in a weird spot where like I don't know who to held the bench. Like, and there's players I want to move, but I'm like, there's no point moving because the team looks really good on paper. But like, I've just got to try and get the benching right and hope that I can make up some points that way.
My 4 best game weeks last season were weeks where I took hits. So, I mean, they do work, don't they? Situational. If your team needs a hit, then take a hit, basically, I think.
I'll present you a saying, Trig.
You see people taking them every week, don't you? And you wonder why the team needs to take a hit if they're always taking hits and bringing in new players. So they obviously need to look at themselves a little bit if they're doing that. But like 8 or 9 in the season's not excessive, I think.
There is something to it though. So for example, like I get what Trig's saying if you're taking a hit every week or whatever, but sometimes like I look at last season, right? And this season is a very different season to last season, but last season, if you took a hit every week and moved like 2 players in that were playing Leicester, you're probably paying the hit off every single week. So like I understand why people do it because sometimes moving 2 optimum players every single week, and the high likelihood is that one of them will bang based on your beliefs. I can see why people do it. Like, and I've actually weighed up doing that myself, but like, as I said, there's no point in me taking hits at the moment. My team actually looks pretty good. But yeah, it does come down to situational, but I understand why people are doing it because like there are some players that when they play certain teams, you just know they're going to bang. And if you don't have them, why not take a hit to bring him in? And if they bang, then all of a sudden you look like a genius.
I just present you with thanks, Rob, for the super chat. I'll ask the lads in a minute. Stringjoy, is one of my channel members, said the worst sort of hit is a -4 because the more he reckons, if you make a -8, a -12, it's got more chance coming off because you're making more changes. Do you guys think that's logical? Because there's part of me that thinks it sort of makes sense, but then there's part of me that thinks I'm not sure.
No, I'd say no. I don't know why exactly, but
it's a bit conceptual, isn't it? But I think it's like you've got more chance of the players you bring in, one of them hitting it off and making up a load of the points if you've got 3 or 4 new players as opposed to just one. Do you know
I
what I mean?
mean, we
Yeah,
see
but-
FPL Hippie every week taking 20-point hits, don't we? And occasionally they pay off, but most of the time they don't.
The key is that obviously that everyone that you do in a given week. Like I did the minus, what was it, minus 12 I did that week or whatever, and it almost paid off. If that Ekitike shot had gone in instead of on the post, it would have paid itself off. And that just goes, I think if you're doing hits though, one of the best pieces of advice I will give is pick a differential captain that week. Because if you pick a differential captain and it bangs, and obviously Ekitike did beat Haaland that week as well, by the way, when I did do that. Unfortunately, he just didn't beat him by enough. And like Nightmare this week, classic case, took a -8, didn't go Haaland captain, Gabriel captain, or pretty much made his entire hit back straight off the gate for him. So I feel like that is a good way. If it's a week where you think that the captaincy is a little bit open to interpretation, which it has been for a lot of the season, the last 5 or 6 weeks, then I think you can do it. Because if the majority are captaining Haaland and you know they're going to do it, and you're pretty confident he does nothing, like I've been pretty confident the last few weeks, you can make up the big points straight out of the gate. So that's also something to keep in mind.
No, two separate things though. The differential captain and your hit is like totally independent of each other. It's like you saying that Nightmare's hit paid off because he chose Gabriel as captain. That doesn't say that the hit paid off. That's got nothing to do with the hit. Do you know what I mean? So,
but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they would do it
things.
because if he captained Haaland, he wouldn't have got a green arrow. He would. He would have got a red arrow, but he didn't.
But
and he took
Haaland
paid it off.
If Haaland had scored and Gabriel didn't, and he'd have been saying his hit was a disaster when it would have had nothing to do with his hit. So, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Captain. Yeah.
So before we move on, Rob Tash said here, great show. Thank you, mate. Will Haaland get rested against Wolves? I'll give my point of view first. I don't think he will, but ultimately we've got no idea, have we? Because Marmoush is back. Pep said he needs a rest. Darius, you think he will get rested, don't you? I think I heard you say that in your video.
Well, he just played 90 minutes on a synthetic pitch and did absolutely nothing back in his home country where he would have been desperate to do something. If ever there was a man that needed a reset, it's probably him. Like, he's looked bang out of form. I mean, City's attackers look bang out of form. They've got Marmoush back. He played 20 minutes off the bench. I mean, I think if Pep's intelligent, and I don't know what's going on at Man City because they look awful, and I don't think actually resting Haaland's going to make much difference whether they click or not. I mean, it might. Maybe Haaland is half the issue. I'm not sure, but they've looked off it like for the last 3 weeks. And I reckon there's something to do with the Club World Cup in this because a lot of the teams that have played there outside of Bayern Munich have looked pretty bang average, like at this point in the season at the moment. Like a lot of them just look cooked. But PSG lost to bloody Sporting Lisbon last night, for example. Like, that would never have happened last year.
City didn't get very far in the Club World Cup. They were home long before Chelsea.
Well, I agree, but I think it's something to do with the preparation, maybe, or the
it could be. It could be. They haven't had a rest for 2 years, have they?
Do you reckon Ireland will start, Trig?
I have no idea. It's very difficult. I mean, the problem is, I look at my own team and I don't really have an alternative, so I'm kind of going to have to captain him and hope for the best. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was benched. But you never know. It might galvanise him and he might come on and get 2 goals if he is benched. So we just don't know. But it's a very difficult fixture anyway against Wolves in the current way that City are playing. I mean, they are genuinely pretty crap at the moment and Wolves aren't. So people keep saying to me, you know, it's only Wolves, it's only Wolves. Very insulting to Wolves. And it's only City who are, they really are. They're poor. Foden's rubbish. They're all rubbish.
Wolves' defensive data is actually really good as well. I mean, they haven't outside of that Man United game where Man United went there and turned them over 4-1 and the start of the season when City did. They've actually been really good defensively. Like, they're not giving up many goals. Like, it's not going to be a 4-0, 5-0 flogging like a lot of people think that it might be. I don't think that's realistic.
If you put up a table for the last 4 matches, I think they're third, and City are right at the bottom just about. So They've turned a corner. You know, they've got a new manager in. They're starting to play well now. People get stuck in their perceptions of teams, don't they? And very slow to change. I think that's part of a problem with models as well. They're quite slow to see when something's changed. You know, like Liverpool at the start of the season, how they kept having Salah way at the top for like 8 weeks or whatever, when it was obvious to anyone that watched football that something had fundamentally changed.
Has Haaland been top the last 8 weeks, Trig? Out of curiosity, has he been top the last 8 weeks?
Most weeks. There might have been 1 week when Saka was top, I think. He was just ahead of Szoboszlai this week.
So essentially, the models are still getting it wrong because, like, they're not. I'm not biting to that. But like the models, like they're consistently saying Haaland's the top, and he's getting more 2-pointers than anything else at the moment, and yet the models still think he's the best.
But who else can they have at the top? Do you know what I mean? Because they're all doing rubbish, aren't they?
Bruno Fernandes?
I mean, it's very unpredictable.
Salah might start being a bit...
Gabriel top.
Yeah. Salah will start getting on top a few times. Craig, just keeping to this, theme of trying to keep, the tightness in the ranks and needing to keep points, and not giving them away. You suggested putting this slide together on team value, mate. Do you want to talk us through this one?
Yeah, this is from JC, old spaceman from Solio, who's the co-host on their weekly pods. Kind of thinks quite analytically and deeply on things, and they kind of think they've worked out how many points you're going to get if you've got 1 million more than somebody else. So, example, Darius is saying he's going to catch us up because he's got an extra 2 million in the bank, and I worked out here that it says it's only 0.17 this season for 1 million in a game week. So with 2 million advantage, Darius is going to get like a third of a point, catch us up a third of a point each week.
What was this last season, out of curiosity?
Well, it says there, it says, it says 0. It's generally 0.3 to 0.35, and it peaked at 0.4. So even at its best, it's half a point.
Yeah, so kind of double what it is now. So a bit less than half a point for 1 million. So let's just assume it's at its peak. So you can make up 2 extra points each week. And there's probably about 15 weeks to go. So 15 weeks to go. That means 30 points for you. You can catch up by having an extra 2 million in the bank. I mean, that is kind of significant, I guess. But then you have to factor in the hits you've taken to get there and all that type of thing. You might have
moving early a lot of the time.
Yeah, moving early, taking risks, maybe getting less points. You might have cost you 30 points over the season.
I've been costed, but in fact, the only transfer that I've moved early on in the last 3 years that bit me in the ass was someone at the beginning of last season. And I got burnt, and I was like, that's fine. I'll just wear it. And they were only out a week anyway. But outside of that, every other move I've done, like I don't buy players that generally speaking are injury prone. That comes into my line of thinking. I just prefer to go for blokes that are normally robust. You don't have to worry about it, how many games they play or whatever. There's a reason why I haven't gone back to Saka and players like that, because you just don't know whether they're going to break down again. Whereas if you bring blokes in on early transfers, you've got to be pretty confident they're going to make it to the next game, if that makes sense.
Do you know what I think does? I reckon it probably all balances out in the end. Do you know what I mean? Like, you probably have lost a few points over the course of, but you know what I mean? You'll gain them back. I reckon it all pretty much balances out over the season. That's my guess anyway.
And I think we were saying, weren't we, Darius, that this season's different because we don't need any money this season because of all the high-priced players aren't doing anything. So it's very easy to manage quite well with a low budget this season, isn't it? In a way, you're probably better off because if you have got a low budget, then you're more likely to play 5 at the back and not have a Saka or not have a Palmer. And
you just got to have a Casemiro, a Saka, a Ghana in midfield and just out 4 points every week.
if you only had a budget of 80 million, you'd probably be ahead of us now, wouldn't you? Because you'd have all those DEFCON midfielders in your team, all your Andersons and your Garners, they'd all be in your teams.
Man, it's insane when you think about it, like how many points are just getting churned out by these low options. Like even Harry Wilson, like the top 8-10 midfielders in the game, and he's costs under 6 mil. It's crazy. Like when you think about it in general.
It would be good fun to make a team where all your players had to be under 7 million, except maybe 2. So you're allowed 2 for your captains, and everyone else had to be under 7 million. And you could probably make a fantastic team doing that. You just go in with DEFCONs and, because these DEFCON players, they do get attacking returns as well, don't they? Like Ghana and even your number 8.
Andrew's trying to sell me Ghana as my Tavernier replacement. Can we get onto the talking points to this, lads? So we've called this title, the stream, a bit provocative. Is Haaland a sell? But I mean, there are going to be people out there who are actually thinking about it. I mean, their fixtures. Oh, let me have a look. Wolves obviously this week, but then it gets a bit more, quite difficult. More difficult. Tottenham, Liverpool, Fulham, Newcastle, Leeds. I mean, Craig, I'm assuming you won't do it this week, but is it something you're going to consider at some point? I think Darius is probably going to have more of a out there answer, but.
Well, an interesting thing is the actual algorithms now are starting to talk about taking out Haaland. I mean, I put a team into review yesterday, and it was a lot of the lines were suggesting taking out Haaland in game week 24. So I think you might see the likes of Let's Talk Andy, etc., suddenly start talking about how we want to make a brave move and remove Haaland because the review will be moving them in that direction. No, not necessarily to get Salah. I don't think. No, it's not even to replace him with Salah. It's to replace him with somebody like Watkins and get Palmer in. That's the main thing that the models are interested in, I think. But the trouble is, we don't know about Palmer, do we? That's the problem. I mean, that's what's putting me off taking out Haaland. You know, if Palmer was firing and Saka and all of these players were firing, then it would make a lot more sense to take Haaland out. But, I mean, for one thing, who do you replace him with as a forward? Because none of the forwards are doing very well. And so you've got to replace him there. And you've also got to spend the money elsewhere. And it's actually quite difficult to spend, isn't it? Yeah. Unless you are getting Salah, but going Salah is a huge gamble. But he can't be any worse than Haaland at the moment, can he? No. But Haaland did this last season and then he came back. And the other thing, of course, is City will get a double game week and you're going to need Haaland for that. And you're going to have to pay a hell of a lot more for him than, because you've got a lot of stored value up in him, haven't we? So if you do take him out, it's kind of for good almost.
Yeah, because even if the active player base sell him, there's going to be lots of dead teams that are still going to have him. So he's not going to drop back down. Darius, I'll bring you in, mate. You're probably going to have more of a bullish attitude on this. Haaland out. What do you reckon, mate?
For who?
Well, just in general.
You've got to play forward. You've literally got to play a forward. And I don't understand. People sitting there and said Ollie Watkins. I mean, they're looking at signing John Philippe Mateta. He's not going to be an option, is he? You're going to swap. You're going to be worrying about whether Mateta starts, if Mateta goes there.
Well, they're trying to sign him, aren't they? Yeah.
Sign another forward. So Watkins is not going to be an option because you don't know if he's going to start every game. Of Haaland, historically, he has started. I think Haaland, what he just needs, they just need to rest him for a week, maybe a week or 2 weeks, and just get him back. And then he'll be sweet. I've got no interest at the moment. I look at the other forwards and I'm like, and if I don't think he's good in a week, I'll just bench him. And I'm actually considering benching him this week because when I look at my team, if I believe that he's going to get rested, and Jack actually made a point here, he said, just make sure you got a really good first bench because if he starts on the bench, he's probably not coming on. If provided they score, he's probably not coming on against Wolves if he starts on the bench, which I think has a little bit of merit to it, to be honest. But when you don't need the money for anything else. I've already got ridiculous team value. I don't need to sell Haaland for anything. I've got 3 million sitting in the bank already. Selling Haaland to get what? Right. I heard you say on one of your videos this week, you might even consider getting Salah in if it means making up rank. The Salah hater. If he looks like he's going to bang, but I didn't say about getting rid of Haaland for it though. I'll say I'm going to bring Salah in Haaland, because that will be the difference. Like people like you and Trig won't be able to afford it because of your team value, because you have to make too many other sacrifices in your team. Whereas I'll be able to do it quite comfortably without too many issues, because obviously Salah's dropped down to, I think, 14 mil now. So having a team value of 107.4 is going to put me in pretty good stead to be able to get them both in and not make too many other concessions, which is definitely something I'm weighing up.
Okay, let's move on to the next talking point. So I've not actually written the two players here, but I've written this is the most obvious transfer of the season, right? And I think it's a transfer used to have already both made, which is Foden to Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Foden off early in the week at the weekend. But he did play last night, didn't he? And Fernandes back looking good with the assist. I held out. I was very close to it at the weekend, but I held out. I've not done it yet. And to be honest with you, I'm going to say I'm probably going to keep Foden for Wolves. I'm definitely going to make the transfer, but probably next week. Obviously, you guys have both made the transfer, but if someone's sitting there thinking of doing it now, would you still do it, Trig?
It's a tricky one. I mean, part of the reason I did it was it ended up being a bit of a knee jerk. We were on the lock-in, and Kanji and Darius here were very bullish on just doing it, So
you did it after when we were chatting.
I ended up going along and doing it online pretty much, and because I was just sick of Foden, because I'd never liked Foden as a pick. I don't know why. I was annoyed with myself for giving in and buying him. And I couldn't wait to get him out of my team. But would I do it now? I think I would, because I've got Shirky, Foden, and Haaland, and there's no way I want all three of them against Wolves. So one of them isn't going to play, at least one. Shirky and Foden are not going to play. Shirky's been in a lot better form than Foden. Foden's absolutely rubbish. He got hooked at half time, and Pep made the excuse about his hand. It had nothing to do with his hand. It was because he was crap. And he came off again 70 minutes, not to be rested, but because he was useless, and they needed to get Haaland and Marmoush on the pitch at the same time to try and get a goal. And they took Foden off because, he's just not playing well. And when Pep's talking about fragile players, I think he's talking about Foden, who's mentally quite fragile. You'll often see him come off, and Pep has to put his arm around him and console him. And so, yeah, I'd get rid of him, I think, still, because probably before the deadline, Bruno will go up again and Foden will drop again. And you're going to want Bruno for the entire season. So the more you pay for him, the less value you've got for the rest of the entire season, let alone the money you're losing on Haaland, on Foden, depending on what price you bought him for. But personally, I bought him quite late. So any drops in price on Foden hit me in the pocket. So I thought I'd just do it because, Bruno can outscore Foden this week playing Arsenal. He'd probably get DEFCONs, could get a penalty, anything could happen. Whereas Foden, is he even going to play? And if he does, he's only be getting 2 points every week, and they've got an important Champions League game. So even if he does start, he's not going to play more than 65, 70 minutes anyway. So why put yourself through it? You know what I mean? You're only going to make the move next week anyway.
I think it's a bit of a no-brainer because I think Marmoush comes into that starting lineup. I think Bernardo Silva comes in because he's been rested a bit well. So does Doku, and I reckon so does Semenyo. So that's 4 players that are coming in. There's got to be 4 that are dropping out. Yeah. And when you look at the team, I mean, Rodri can't play in the Champions League, so there's no point resting him because he just got suspended. So he's probably going to start. There's probably then going to be Semenyo. So that means I wouldn't be surprised if Cherki, Foden, and Haaland all dropped out for those 4. I would not be surprised if that happened. It was and trust me, if there was one person that wanted to hold on to him, Gary, it's me. But I know you love him.
I know you love him. Just done a quick poll. So let us know you think you're going to do Haaland, keep, sell this game week, sell but not this game week, or I don't own him. So these were 3 players I was asked by various people to put in just to quickly ask our opinions on. Maybe I'll do Saka. Trig, you can do Ndiaye, and Darius, you can do Guehi. I mean, with Saka, actually, maybe we should all give our opinions on Saka. Obviously, benched at the weekend. I'm really desperate to get rid of him, but it would be to get Palmer in, and I don't think I want Palmer anymore. So actually, I don't know. What do you guys think on Saka? Keep or sell? Trig?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I've got Rice in now, so I mean, I could.
And you've got Saka, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got both of them at the moment.
Yeah, you've got both.
So, I mean, they've got a double, but he's not going to play both games. He probably is really going to be a sell, I think. But like you, I'm not in any rush to do it because I don't know who I want to replace him with. So, I mean, if Palmer was looking really good, then it's easy, isn't it? You just go to Palmer. I've already got Bruno in for Foden. So, like, who do I sell him for? I mean, he's still pretty high up in the projections. He's on penalties. He could have got 2 goals and an assist the other day, even coming off the bench. So, very unlucky, I think. He deserved a lot more points than the likes of Enzo Fernandez last week. And it's just like one of those things. So did Rice. So they're both good, I think. I don't see the rush to take him out, to be quite frank with you. So, I mean, I wouldn't captain him any time. But, yeah, it's like Darius was saying about Haaland. Who do you replace him with? That's a problem.
I think in the midfield, it's a bit easier. But you've just got to train your mind that the better options are actually lower priced. And you won't need the money. I feel like that's the issue with Saka. I feel like that's why I've got money sitting in my bank, is because of the fact that, they're not worth it, those more expensive ones. The only one that's good that's probably over 8 mil is probably Bruno Fernandes. I mean, and Mbumo might be with the way I think they're going to have a bit of an uptick in form in terms of performance. And I mean, once they get past Arsenal, Man United have already played Man City and Arsenal twice this season. They don't have to play them again. And then, yes, they've obviously played Burnley and Wolves twice as well. But I'm telling you, the easy teams are the ones we struggle against. It's the ones that are a bit higher up that Man United show up for, because it's, I don't know, there's something wrong with them mentally. They're weak mentally, like Foden is, as Trig said. I think that's half the issue of Man United. They see a good team. I reckon there's more chance of Man United beating Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium this weekend than there is of us beating Fulham at home at Old Trafford the week after, which is probably true.
What's your thoughts on Ndiaye and Guehi, mate? I'll ask you on those two.
Guehi's just avoid anyone that's seen Man City defended in the last 5-6 game weeks and in the Champions League. Just avoid him. Don't bother him defensively.
What if you own him and you got him in at 4.5 or whatever he started at?
Sell.
You still reckon? And Ndiaye?
Yeah, I think that I just can't what the way City play, they dominate a lot of the ball. None of their defenders get DC. Very rare do they get DC.
True.
So you're then relying on Mark Guehi keeping a clean sheet or getting an attacking return. Now, he might get an attacking return, but is he going to get a clean sheet based on what we've seen the last 5 or 6 games? The answer is probably not. So I think that he's probably a sell. In terms of Ndiaye, I mean,
you don't like him, do you?
The reason why Kanji's picked him this week, because he's gone straight to the top of FPL Review and Solio. So cue the Ndiaye hate. But
he's not doing that well on review, I don't think. I've not seen him come up anyway. Trig, what's your thoughts on Ndiaye and Guehi, mate?
I had Ndiaye for pretty much the whole season before he went to AFCON, I think.
You did, yeah, you did. Yeah.
And I do quite like him. Obviously he's on penalties. He gets DEFCONs quite a bit, for a midfielder. And Everton are fairly decent. The fixtures aren't awful. So he's quite decent. I'm kind of tossing up at the moment between him and Enzo Fernandez. So, if I don't get Enzo, it might be Ndiaye coming back. But often with AFCON, we find that players don't come back the same as they were before they went, So things might have changed slightly at Everton. Yeah, they won, I think.
When does Ramadan start?
I've no idea. Is he one of those that's not going to eat
I
for
think
40
he might
days?
be. So that's also why. I don't know. I don't know if it's got anything to do with it, but like all those players that they can't eat before like the sun goes down or whatever, quite often their performance does seem to drop a little bit.
No, that makes sense. Salah comes back often and it's not as good, is he, from AFCON? So
starts 17th of Feb to Wednesday, the 8th of March, according to Google.
Oh, okay, I'll have to check if he's involved in that or not. But yeah, often they'll come back different. Like the teams that have got used to playing without them and changed a few things. But I think he's a decent pick. He is a decent pick. I've got him as my captain in challenge this week because you get a point per dribble, I think, and he's one of the highest for successful dribbles. So I've made him captain. So we'll see how we get on. I think this will be his first actual game back, won't it? So home to Leeds. I'm hoping he does well this week. And as for Guehi, I think, he will be a worse asset at City. But if you paid 4.5 for him, then there's no harm in holding on to him to wait and see what happens. But City, unlike Palace, aren't set up to get him goals. So he probably is going to get worse output in every area, I'd say. Because they just need him, though. Their defending was shocking. That game yesterday reminded me of the Club World Cup game when they lost to that team from Saudi Arabia, where they just could not cope with any sort of counter-attack. And I think Wolves will have watched that, and they're going to be using the same tactic. Let City have possession, hit them on the break, and smash them.
First time they've ever beaten an English team, I heard somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, they did make the semi-finals of the Europa League last year, apparently. But it's the first ever Champions League game that they've won. I mean, City just weren't on it, were they? They were absolutely awful. The worst performance I've ever seen from them.
Shall we move on to Darius's favourite slide? A slide made... Oh, no, sorry. That's next. I've got a wild card draft.
Yes, Gary, get rid of it.
I've got a wild card draft. So this is credit to FPL_Verts. Obviously, I think this week, I probably shouldn't have bothered putting this in, to be honest, because I think it's next week people are going to wild card. But, there might be some talking points in this. So the wild card is Kelleher, Gabriel, Chalobah, Timber, Fernandez, Enzo, Rice, Rogers, Ndiaye, Haaland, Thiago, Verbruggen, Calvert-Lewin, Alderete, and Cash. We've not had a single wild card that you guys have liked yet. I'm desperate. I think that's why I'm doing it. I'm desperate to find a wild card that we actually like. Trig, have I found it?
No, I mean, that one's okay. I mean, it's very current, isn't it? I mean,
I think
he's got Ndiaye in the team. Yeah, this is just like the team that everybody's looking to go to in game week 24. It's not that different from Darius's team, to be honest. So, no, it looks good. Good wild card. But you know what it is with wild cards in 3 or 4 weeks, they always look like rubbish, don't they? And you think, why did I get them all in? But no, it looks fine.
Darius, have I managed to have I scored a hat trick here? Do you like this one as well?
I don't
looks
know
like your team.
I don't know if I'd be going to Kelleher and Bart Simpson rotation.
That's your only criticism.
I don't know about the defense either, to be honest. Alderete and Matty Cash, I'm not sure about them either. I think Mukiele's just a far better asset than Alderete, and I'm not sold on Cash. I don't mind Rogers. I don't mind most of the midfield.
He might have needed Alderete for the
change a few actually. To be honest, I think I'd probably realistically not be going Morgan Rogers or Enzo, and I'd probably go an extra Man United attacker.
Okay. Only thing I don't like is the structure of having, like, he hasn't got an obvious benched midfielder. Like he's got one too many good midfielders. He needs an Anderson in there instead of Calvert, instead of one of them. Or drop Calvert-Lewin down to Krupi. Calvert-Lewin to Krupi wouldn't be a bad start. I'd like it more then, I think. Because it would give more flexibility in terms of if you needed Palmer or somebody, or Salah. So let's not forget Salah is still around, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd like someone in there to be able to switch to Saka or Salah or Palmer. He's not really got that price point, has he? Right, now let's move on to Darius's favourite slide. The man who's much better at predicting or putting together slides that predict this week's matches. It's Rob T's slide on projected goals. So just to go quickly over the fixtures this week, West Ham, Sunderland. West Ham, very tiny favourites there, but not much in it. Fulham versus Brighton. Again, Fulham favourites, but really not anything in it. Burnley, Spurs. Spurs favourites there. Man City versus Wolves. Obviously, City clear favourites there. Biggest predicted number of goals this week, 2.78, and also the highest clean sheet odds, 4.43%. Not many clean sheet odds that look high this week. Bournemouth, Liverpool clear favourites there. Newcastle, Villa, Newcastle favourites. Brentford, Forest, Brentford favourites. Crystal Palace, Chelsea, obviously Chelsea favourites. Arsenal, Man United, Arsenal clear favourites there with the second best predicted goals of 1.93 and second best predicted clean sheets. And Everton, very slight favourites against Leeds, but it is pretty tight. I mean, usually, lads, we just talk about the captaincy here. I mean, Darius, I'll come to you, right? So I'm going to end up captaining Haaland. It sounded like Trig might be earlier. Who out of these teams contains the captain of non-Haalanders?
There's plenty of options. Look, I actually think there's I think you've got to be booking yourself in. If you're going with Haaland this week, make sure you've got a good vice captain.
I agree.
Well, he doesn't play.
Now, who is it? Who is it? Tell us, Darius. Tell us.
At the moment, my gut, to be honest, it might actually be Thiago versus Nottingham Forest, because Nottingham Forest.
That's who I've got voice.
They're playing in Europe, and I think that's realistically an option. Fernandes against Arsenal. I know it sounds ludicrous, but I'm telling you, Man United will be up for that game. And if Man United score, you can almost guarantee that Bruno's going to be involved based off what we saw on the weekend. If he's in the number 10 position, he's literally the creative hub of that team.
That's the most difficult fixture in the league. You can't captain.
Yeah, but it's you don't understand, Gary. Man United opening day against Arsenal, they shouldn't have lost that game. And that was only because Flappy Bird flapped it into his net that they actually lost. I think
go Gabriel over Fernandes.
No, because I don't think Arsenal will keep a clean sheet this week. I'm pretty confident that Man United will score a goal. So yeah, no Gabriel captaincy this week. I actually quite like, and this one's for Colm, I quite like Harry Wilson against Bart Simpson. I think Fulham do Brighton at home, based off what I saw on Monday night. And I think Harry Wilson might have a lot of joy down the right-hand side, provided he plays more on the right rather than centrally like he did a lot in the game on the weekend. Or you could go with Tarkowski captain. That's possible.
But are you worried about
actually possible? I feel like that could actually come in.
You've got a 4-pointer there at the minimum.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's a good week to do that, I reckon, because a lot of us are going to get 1 point from Haaland probably. So anyone who's gone Tarkowski, even if he only gets 4 points, will have outscored Haaland. So, but I didn't realise Forest had a European game this week. So, yeah,
so
that does make
Europa League's tomorrow night, right? Europa League's tomorrow night.
Normally is. Yeah, I
Thursday.
haven't checked whether it's playing or not.
How come Palace aren't playing? Is the Conference League done? Is the group stage done for the Conference League or something?
Yeah, they're done for a while now. I think Palace. That doesn't start this week. But I'm just checking now on Forest, see if they're home or away.
Oh, Trig, can you do me a favour, mate?
Yeah.
While you're there, have a look if you can find the lineups.
Yeah, okay. Hang on, where are we? Where's Forest are away to Sporting Braga? Is that in Portugal? Where's Braga?
Sporting Braga, I think.
Portugal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're away, so that's a bit of travel for them. Yeah, I agree suddenly. Someone in my chat on my video said Thiago, and I said I wasn't keen. But maybe he is the best captain. Maybe he is.
Got Dango winning back penalties for him.
I mean, I'm just going to go with what the majority go for this week because I don't want to be caught out. But I already sold Foden, and not captaining Haaland does expose me. I think Rob T's got this wrong. Well, it's not Rob T, is it? It's the bookmakers.
Yeah.
Because I'd have them much closer to 2 goals than 3 goals. I'd quite happily take that on. You know, I don't think they're going to score 3 goals. I think they're going to 2 would be a fairer estimate, I'd guess, for Man City. Yeah. But in terms of captain, that guy in the picture there, if you've got him, is also a very strong option, I think, guaranteed to play. And he could even start up top. He could actually be in, you know, I mean, they have Marmoush there, but it could well be Semenyo that's like more attacking than Marmoush. And if I had Semenyo, I'd seriously be thinking about captaining him. Or Doku even, if you've got Doku. He's going to play for sure. But they're all going to get more minutes than Haaland, I think. Although you never know with Pep, do you, after playing him against Exeter? So just don't know what's going on in his head.
There's a question that
34% odds for Spurs clean sheet. Are they what world are the bookmakers living in? Like, we've already seen Burnley do really well against teams at home this season, and they've just scored against Liverpool at Anfield, and they've got Spurs at 34% clean sheet on. Are they having a laugh?
That's fair enough. It means they're twice as likely not to get a clean sheet as they are to get one, which is probably about right.
Well, I reckon Burnley have got more chance of keeping a clean sheet than Spurs, Trig. That's my problem with it.
I see Solanke's back. He scored a goal, didn't he? Back in the Champions League.
Darius,
was it a sloppy goal?
Question occurred to me, because you're a Wilson owner. Are you worried about Oscar Bob eating into his minutes if he signs?
Well, he's got a hamstring at the moment, so he's not going to be in any minutes at the moment, Gary.
Okay, fair enough.
I've got some lineup for you, Gary. I've got some lineup.
Go for it.
Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez is playing, and I'm sure that the manager said he had flu like yesterday, but he's starting in the team. It's Delap, Garnacho, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Reece James, Neto, Hatto, Badiashile, Fofana, Gusto, and Jorgensen. So Jorgensen's coming for Sanchez. No Palmer. Palmer's not even on the bench, but he has been in training, because I've seen training photos of him. Cucurella's on the bench. Shell Pedro, Guehi, Estevao. Oh, bugger off. Started Estevao in my Champions League fantasy. But yes, that's the lineup for that game. Hang on. So we'll go to Newcastle.
Is Vissa playing? That will be the question for FPL, won't
it? Pope, Trippier, Chow, Botman, Hall, Guimaraes, Tonali, Joel Linton, Barnes, Visser, and Gordon. That's the first team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they need to get in the top 8.
Might mean the other striker, his name's completely gone from my head, might get a start at the weekend, though, if you've got him.
Voltemada, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
so it might be...
and the thing is, if Chelsea and Newcastle win, they both go above Man City on goal difference, I think. I think that's right. And there's one more, isn't there? Who else is playing? Somebody else. Hang on, I shall find it. It will be Liverpool. Forgot about Liverpool away at Marseille.
Okay.
Let's see who's playing there. Becker, Frimpong, Gomez, Virgil van Dijk. Kyrgios, Salah's starting. Gravenbach, Mighty Sabozazlai, McAllister, Wirtz, and Ekitike. So again, full strength team, no Gakpo. Which I think that's the best team now.
Time to still sell Slob, I reckon. Salah's back. On Gary.
Yep, exactly. I tell you what, Slob's taken a massive hit on Solio because the penalty share has just vanished.
Yeah, he's going to drop down on review as well, I imagine.
Yeah, and that was the only reason people had him, really, wasn't it? Was for the penalty share. But it annoys me how every time review have a player top like Tavernier, it always seems to be the week when they get the bloody penalties. They seem to get so much luck. So
I mean, to be fair, I will say I agree with Darius in that the models put far too much on penalties compared to the amount of penalties that actually happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They do happen quite a bit, though, don't they, to be fair?
I do. It feels less this season. I don't know. Can we get on to
Differentials? Did
differentials?
get one, didn't he? Which is
eventually, yeah. But let's not talk about that again. I've still got PTSD from Saturday from that whole experience. So let's go on to differentials. So if you haven't watched, well, this is where we all the podcast lads, the 6 of us, pick a player under 5% owned and keep a track of how we are doing along the season. So on top of this one, with Tavernier coming in with me with the 8 points, I did bet everything on him last week, didn't I, lads? And it also leaves me top of the league. Second in the league is Nightmare, who had Matoma this week with just 2 points. Then Darius is third in the league with Barnes with 3 points last week. So it looks like I had the only returns. Candy and Roberto on joint points, joint fourth. Kirk has 1, Crossard 1. And then, unfortunately, Trig, you've dropped to the bottom of of our league this year with, well, you picked Sabozlai, so...
I was so happy he got 0. I always pick players that I'm worried about.
As much as me, I reckon.
You're happy to be bottom of this league.
I always pick players that I'm worried about that I don't own. So he was like the main one I was worried about this week. I thought at least if he scores, I got him as my differential. So I was very happy to see him get 0.
Okay, but more interesting, let's get on to our picks for this week. So I'll just read them out and then I'll ask you guys as usual to justify your decision. So Trig's gone Sade, Nightmare's gone Croupier Jr., Roberto has gone Welbeck. I never know where he gets his from. I went for Romero, Candy's gone for Ndiaye, and Darius has gone for Marmouche. I was actually going to pick Sade, but you know what? I thought he was over. I was convinced myself he was over 5% because I'm sure I picked before you, Trig. But Trig, anyway, yeah, Sade, mate.
It's crazy. I mean, I honestly think he's the most underrated player in the entire game. I mean, why is he only 4%? Why haven't we got him?
2.8%.
Well, it's probably because we got Thiago. Probably because we got Thiago. But I mean, he's superb. He was great in the end of last season. He's probably going to be great the end of this season as well. And watching that game against Chelsea, how he didn't score is a mystery. I mean, I don't know if I can afford him. It's like, because like the likes of Enzo Fernandez are 6.5, aren't they? So you need to find an extra 500,000 from somewhere. But I'd be happy with a Sade than an Enzo Fernandez, I think. I'm going to have to seriously look at him. But yeah, so I picked him anyway. Forrester in Europe, as it turns out. So Sade could do well this week.
I could afford to go from Tavernier to him thinking about it, while we're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Could do a lot worse. Is it because the models don't like him that people haven't got him?
No, the models still like him. Well, they really liked him earlier in the season. I don't know if they like him quite as much now. I think it is that having that double attack. You know what I mean? It does sort of put. It's not like a.
I don't think their fixtures are the best, are they?
Mm.
And he's not on.
No, they're not, are they?
And he doesn't get DEFCON, so that kind of puts people off, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I've gone Romero mainly because Burnley are terrible at set pieces, and I reckon he might get a set piece. There's an off chance of a clean sheet. He has done well this season, 3 goals and 8 DCs. Yeah, and I seem to be doing well at this. I never.
Romero scored last night, didn't he? For Spurs, I think the first goal.
Yeah,
he scored a couple in the last few weeks, hasn't he? 2 or 3 goals. Yeah.
I love this game because I don't put any effort into it at all. I usually just pick someone at random who's under 5% who's owned to Burnley, and it seems to be you probably put less effort into it than I do. Darius, you gone for my mooch, man?
Yeah, I've just gone with the fact that I reckon he starts, and I reckon Man City need to do something a bit different. So I just think he could be a very good option this week. So it is a risk. He could obviously start on the bench, but I mean, if he starts, I reckon he's returning. So that's my gut feel on that one. And then, yeah, I mean, like the other ones, the Creepy Junior one, I think is, I don't know. I'm not convinced by that pick at all.
You don't think he's going to keep his place?
Yeah, and then Welbeck, he could be okay, but he's been off the boil a bit of late as well. And again, he's quite old. And I think Fulham defend quite well at Craven Cottage. And then Ndiaye, yeah, I get it. Kanji loves a review pick, and that's definitely a review pick, isn't it?
I've not seen him on review. Yeah, I've not. Well,
Yeah, no,
I mean,
he was in one of mine.
Was he? I've not looked that much this week.
He has gone up quite high on review.
Okay. Trig, any thoughts on the other 3 lads' picks?
Yeah, Ndiaye looks good. First game back, I don't know. Could do all right. Croupy, no, I wouldn't go there. This is Virgil's turn to get a clean sheet. And Romero
and
could
bullet header.
One. Yeah, a bullet header could arrive this week.
Every time I watch one of Let's Talk FPL Andy's videos, I look at the comments. It's always it's 2030, and Let's Talk FPL Andy's still waiting for Virgil's bullet header.
Liverpool are actually one of the few teams that haven't adapted to the new tactics that are going around this season. They haven't gone the same way. So, like, I think they're the lowest for scoring from corners and all that sort of thing. They just haven't adapted this season. They're still playing the same old way. So they're falling behind a wee bit, aren't they? Although they are showing signs of a bit of a recovery, I think. And Salah's going to make it interesting, isn't he? I might watch that game after I watch the Chelsea match, I think. As soon as Chelsea get 2-0 up, I'll switch to the Liverpool game.
I'm just thinking it's quite a big deal that he's starting tonight because he was dropped for 2 or 3 matches before he went away, wasn't he?
Yeah, but they haven't been great without him, have they? So
no.
But he had a very good AFCON too. He scored in every game.
Yeah. Okay, shall we move on to our teams? So first up is Darius. So Darius, I think he's already made his transfer, but we'll ask him in a minute. He's going Sanchez away to Crystal Palace, Gabriel at home to Man United, as is Rice, Tarkowski at home to Leeds, Caliber away to Chelsea, Wilson at home to Brighton, Fernandez away to Arsenal, which is his transfer in, Wirtz away to Bournemouth, Bowen at home to Sunderland, Haaland at home to Wolves, Thiago at home to Nottingham Forest, with your captaincy on Wilson. Wow. And bench, Bruno Guehi, O'Reilly, and Mukulele. Talk us through it, mate, while I go to powder my nose.
Yeah, it's weird. So, like, I feel like captaincy's way open this week. And when I was originally putting this together, it just happened to be that the captaincy spot was actually currently on where Wilson was when I was updating the graphic. Wilson didn't used to be there, but I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a sign, because I thought it was wide open. And so for me, I'm like going, they actually might be. The key thing for me is I look at this and I'm like going, maybe I need to be benching Haaland and playing Bruno G, and just ride in my belief that O'Reilly, Haaland, Foden, they're all just going to be no good versus Wolves, and just back against them. And this could be the week where it could go massively in for me, because I look at the bench and I don't want to bench Bruce because we've got too many clashes. I think that West Ham score against Sunderland. And I think Fulham score against Bart Simpson. So for that reason, that rules out 2 players already. Then O'Reilly, really, I would not be shocked if he started on the bench again. And then that probably rules him out of getting many points, a bit like it did against Man United. And then Bruno G, I mean, like, I feel like he's the one that I'm most concerned about on the bench. And like the logical answer is I've either got to bench Bruno Fernandes or Erling Haaland. And I just have a feeling that Man United score in that game. So I feel like if Man United score, then Bruno Fernandes is probably going to return. And the person I have the least faith in at the moment in that starting front 7 is actually Haaland, because he's done nothing like for what feels like a while. So, yeah, that's why I'm looking at it.
7 or 8 games, isn't it? 7 or 8 blanks in a row.
Yep, outside of the penalty.
And we got the added risk this week that he might only play a few minutes as well. So,
Yeah, it's a tough one. But yeah, like I feel like this is the thing. I like having a strong bench. I don't mind if I put bench points because normally it means that I'm realistically I'm well set if there are problems or people miss out or we've got injuries or whatever. I'm not relying on Mark Guehi showing up and actually getting some minutes. Like that's the benefit of having a decent bench, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it looks pretty good team. It's Fernandez. I mean, I was thinking of benching him as well, but we'll get on to that in a minute. But Shalaba could have another good game because Palace are looking awful, aren't they? So Mateta's going as well. So who's going to score for Palace? Is Sarr back? He must be back.
Yeah, he should be back for Sunday. Oh, is it Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember which day they play, but yeah, he should be back. Munoz potentially might be back as well. So like they have got some reinforcements coming, but in reality, if Mateta goes, they need to sign a forward. I mean, like unless they're going to play Brendan Johnson up top, but I wouldn't have thought that would make much sense.
Oh, maybe they will.
Maybe that was the plan. I don't know.
I haven't owned Mateta all season. I think he had one good game, didn't he, where he got a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's just been missing chances left, right and centre, hasn't he?
He hasn't been good. He hasn't been a good asset. He's actually been very wasteful. I'm surprised that there's so much interest in him because like he's been one of the most like frustrating players to watch this season. Like he gets the chances. He's just not putting them in the back of the net.
I think Tarkowski could be a good shout for you. I mean, what are the odds of Wilson scoring or Tarkowski keeping a clean sheet? I reckon the odds of a clean sheet would be better, wouldn't they, than Wilson scoring? And you've got a higher floor with that one as well. You've got to think.
Yeah, you would think so. But like Wilson could easily go ham. Like if Brighton defend like they did in the first half against Fulham this weekend, I dare say Wilson's going to get a return because I feel like he's just, it's a tough one.
Tarkowski's got an attacking return in him as well, somewhere along the line. He's been very unlucky the last few weeks.
Well, yeah, he's no Michael Keane to be aiming for this week, so hopefully old Tark can deliver the goods.
Yeah, I hope so because I didn't like leaving his points on the bench last week. It was very annoying. So points from him and Anderson would be good.
I'm going to do a little poll, lads. Captain Wilson is A, genius, B, okay, C, what, or D, lock Darius away. Darius in a loony bin. Is that politically correct? Can I say loony bin? Nut house. I don't care. Right. And the poll, the other poll which we did was what to do. Haaland keep 74, sell one this game week 14%, sell this game week 8%. I don't own him 4%. You surprised it's not higher for sell, lads?
Have you put a poll up for captain Thiago or Haaland? That might be an interesting one.
No, I haven't, mate. But I've just done one for Darius now, so we have to let that one.
It's easy for people to say they're going to sell though, but it's hard to actually do it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's only 22% have said they're going to sell. I thought it would be higher than that, to be honest. But then again,
give it another week and they might change their minds. I suspect if he blanks this week or upsets people, it'll be a lot higher.
It just depends on who's. Yeah, like if a good option emerged, needed money for someone else, then I think that the clamour would be there 100%. But until that happens, it'd just be, if you've got him, it'd just be folly to get rid of him. Like I feel like you're doing what I'm doing, and if you don't think he's going to return that week, just bench him.
A hat trick or a brace from Salah would change.
Yeah, and like this, I want to carry on to this. So this is the FPR that I've done, which the one on the FPL website's a pile of crap. And you know what? Like this week, I really struggle to do. So I update it every week. I give new colours to the teams as they in and out of. And like,
I like you put it in order as well.
Yeah, so like the top, I've still got Chelsea up the top. I feel like Chelsea's fixtures definitely do look the best over the next 6. Palace are not far behind. But then when you look at the teams, right, you can make a case that almost everyone bar Arsenal, should be a grey colour fixture. Like, because no one's showing the form consistently that they're actually a difficult fixture or they're an easy fixture, because there's no team that's getting rolled 5-6-0 every single week. There's no teams doing that this year. Whereas last year there was 2 clear teams doing it. And then there's no team outside of Arsenal that are difficult to score against. So, like, when you factor all that in, it doesn't matter if you're home or away. It doesn't seem to make much difference. Like, the results just seem so sporadic this season. And I think that's been the hardest bit to gauge. Other than Arsenal keeping a clean sheet, which seems pretty nailed on most weeks more than it doesn't, and the fact that they're difficult to score against. Other than that, everyone else on their day can be well and truly beaten pretty easily by anyone else in the league, which is just, that adds to the problem of like creating difficulty. Whereas in previous seasons, it's been very obvious, like, which teams to target on any given week. And like, people sitting there go, Spurs versus Burnley. You can make a case that that's a better fixture for Burnley than it is for Spurs. Which was why I was shocked that the clean sheet odds were so fortunate, considering it's a Burnley home fixture and Spurs have been shit.
Don't you like that, though? Do you remember everyone used to always say the Premier League was brilliant because everyone could beat everyone, and it's not been like that for ages. I think it's not brilliant.
It's a very boring league this season. There's not many goals. I mean, like, there's goals. That's been the issue. There's not many goals. It's set piece FC, but like pretty much across the board. Everyone's hiring bloody long throw coaches. It's not a good product that the Premier League are producing this season.
No, but at least in terms of the unpredictability.
Yeah, I mean, like, the classic case, like last season, if you'd had 5 or 6 games on at one string, a live watch along on a Saturday, you'd probably expect over 20 goals. This season, the more goals have actually come on the days where there's only been like 2 or 3 games on, because every time there's 5 or 6, there's only about 6 to 8 goals go in. It's ridiculous. And
you're just annoyed because you don't get to have more shots.
I know, it's disappointing. Can someone score a bloody goal? How hard is it? It's like, I don't know.
Anyone doesn't know, Darren said he's got every 3 goals, didn't you, mate, in your watch-alongs? Yeah,
I mean, Saturday was pretty. I mean, other than the Sabozlai one, that made up for the fact there was not many goals. But it was a good day for the D-Unit streaming that day. Not only did we get the Manchester derby, the Haaland blank, but we also got the Sabozlai dirty 0 points, and then we got, just to top it off, as we were just about to pack up, Anderson conceded, so all the D-Unit favourites just lived up to the billing.
Do you want me to mute him, Craig?
Yeah, put my team instead.
That's it. That's your team, mate. Okay, so Craig he's made 1 transfer. He's gone Foden to Fernandes. He's got 2 left, 0.7 in the bank. He's currently going with Sanchez away to Crystal Palace, 4-4-2. Gabriel at home to Man United. Tarkowski at home to Leeds. Burnley away to Bournemouth. Anderson at home to Brighton. Kirky and captain Haaland at home to Wolves. The rest of his midfield is Fernandes away to Arsenal, Saka and Rice at home to Man United, and his other striker is Thiago at home to Nottingham Forest, with Elliot Anderson, Lacroix, and Guehi on the bench. Yeah, talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, I might have to change my vice captain to Thiago, I think. Yeah, so I got rid of Foden because I had 3 Man City players, and last week was so frustrating with Foden playing 45 minutes, Shirky coming on and getting 1 point as well. So I've taken Foden out. Shirky's actually playing pretty well, but it's just that Pep's not playing him as much in the Premier League. But like, he got a goal yesterday. He was one of the brighter players in that City team. So I'm hoping he plays over Foden against Wolves. So I'll keep him because he's less money for one thing. He's only like 6 million. And then decide whether I want Ndiaye or Fernandes, whoever, next week. So I put Bruno in. I'm tossing up between Bruno and Forrest Anderson. But having heard that Forrest are playing in Europe, I think I'll go with Bruno. I mean, he's 90 minutes. They've got no game midweek. Arsenal have had a game midweek. Like Darius said, they're played better against a good team. So I just play him. Hope he gets DEFCONs. And anything else would be a bonus. Yeah. Whereas Saka, I mean, he played 90 minutes midweek. Everyone's saying, oh, he won't get rested. He won't get rested. But they said that last week and he did, didn't he? So he could be a problem as well. You know, if Haaland doesn't start and Saka doesn't start, it's going to be another annoying week, isn't it? But we shall see what happens.
Any more transfers?
I don't think so. I was looking at Shirky to somebody, but I'm kind of undecided who I want at this stage, really. Because I'm not sure on Enzo Fernandez just yet. I'll just keep Shirky, you know, because I got rid of Foden. So if City do actually go off and get lots of points, and at least I haven't completely killed myself. But it's very unlikely. Teams don't generally turn it around like that. So once they're playing crap for a while. So I don't expect much from them, really. But we shall see. Expect the unexpected. Probably Lacroix clean sheet and a bullet header and an Anderson goal. That's probably what's going to happen. So another 20 points on the bench. Clean sheet for Dubravka.
Bench restart. Any thoughts on Craig's team there?
It looks all right. I think that, to be honest with you, I think I'd probably lean towards starting Anderson.
Instead of Anderson.
Well, instead of the other Anderson, or one, yeah. I feel like Forrest Anderson. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I'd start Forrest Anderson and bench Virgil. I think Bournemouth score against Liverpool, and he's not getting a bullet header, and he hasn't got a bullet header. I think that's what I'd do. I'd actually think Anderson's more likely to get the DCs against Brighton, and I think Virgil is more likely to concede. So I think I'd start Anderson instead of Virgil.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not a bad shout. I couldn't do that to myself. And if he did get his bullet header, I'd be hanging from the rafters. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to play Virgil. That's not a recommendation, by the way, peeps. Don't go and do that.
I do. I like the way you did that as well. You escaped the UK algorithms by some weird metaphor. Yeah, I reckon it looks good, man. You're in a strong position with your 2-3s, and I wish I was in your position, to be honest. You already got Rice. Is there any temptation? Exactly. Any temptation to get a second? Not this week, but say before the double game week, which is looking likely it's going to happen, for Saka for a second Arsenal defender, or?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible I go that way, but I'm looking to see who to take Saka out for. That's the whole thing, isn't it? I mean,
Kevin Sade. I reckon, Kevin Sade or
Shirky.
Yeah, well, yeah, or that. You've got enough money. Yeah, you've got enough money for that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's probably the move.
I think this is Brentford's best fixture, though. I think they're like rubbish after this week. So it'll probably be Shirky to win.
I think they're fine. I think they're fine attacking wise.
I could go Shirky to Ndiaye and Saka to Enzo Fernandez and Virgil van Dijk to Timber next week. I mean, it would use all my transfers up, but I'd have a very strong team. It would be the same team people are wildcarding to, basically.
How many do you reckon are going to wildcard next week?
Hardly anybody. They talk about it, but they don't do it. You know what I mean? So
I think they'd have gone in 22 if they were going to do it, weren't they?
Yeah, it's easy to talk about these things. They're just like creating content and say they're thinking of doing things, but they very rarely do. So, unless the teams are a complete mess. I guess if you've got Tavernier, Szoboszlai, I'm not aiming this at you, but if you've got those two and you've got a couple of other issues, you know, like you've got 2 Palace defenders or whatever. And
he must be giving him the bird there, Darius.
You probably are. You know, and you've got Ekatike as well. And I didn't see. Was there a bird on the screen?
The bird, you know.
Yeah. So I can, you know, if people had a bad week this week with Ekatike and all of those players, they might well decide they want a wild card, I guess.
Anything else you want to say about a Craig team before we move on to mine?
Not really. I mean, all the transfers I've made the last few weeks have been geared towards players I'd won in 24, like Rice. which is why I didn't get Wirtz last week, even though I would have got more points than with Rice. But yeah, so it's kind of future-proofed my last few transfers so that I don't have to do much next week, really, do I?
No.
I mean, you're going to have to use your transfers to get Fernandes and everybody in. I've already got them. And you don't do any transfers, do you? So what are you going to do with Fernandes? Like, are you going to...
Well,
you can't really wait until the end of next week to do it.
Okay, well, let's go into my team. I'll read it out, Trig, and I'll answer you. One free transfer. The one bonus is I've got 2.1 million in the bank. So I've got Kelleher at home to Forest, Gabriel and Timber at home to Man United, as is Saka, Hall away to Villa, Anderson at home to Brighton, Enzo away to Crystal Palace, Darius' favourite player away to Bournemouth, Haaland and Foden at home to Wolves, and Thiago, currently my vice, home to Nottingham Forest, Lacroix, the injured Tavernier, and Guehi on my bench. So, yeah, I don't know, because I really don't know what I'm going to do this week because, as you said, I want to get Foden in for Fernandes. Do you remember last week I said I wanted to get Szoboszlai out for Rice, Foden in for Fernandes, and Saka in to out for Palmer? Now, obviously, the Palmer one I've calmed down a bit on. Foden to Fernandes, I'll probably wait till next week. I'm actually tempted to roll. It depends. Depends on the news with Tavernier. Obviously, if Tavernier's out for like a month or whatever, then I'm going to have to switch him to someone. But if he's only out for a week or two, I'm actually tempted to roll. I mean, the one thing I've got is I've got a lot of money in defence. I could just play defence the next couple of weeks. And then next week would be Foden to Fernandes. But it all depends on Tavernier's back. If Tavernier isn't back, I'd probably go to Anderson, Trig. Because the thing is, if I go for anyone who costs more, that interferes with my ability to upgrade other players like Szoboszlai and Foden. But then again, if I don't get rid of Saka, I can't get Rice in for Szoboszlai anyway. So it's a bit of a muddle, to be honest.
Yeah, you kind of have to do them together, don't you?
Yeah.
I think you've got an easy decision this week. I mean,
go on, mate.
I'd be starting Lacroix over Dirty's 2-point dom all day long. He's no longer got penalties. So, like, well, how many points is he actually going to get you? More than 2? I mean, Lacroix could literally concede twice and still get 3 points quite easily against Chelsea. Like, Dirty, his cap now is 2 points. That's it. That's all you're going to get from him.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
You must bench him for Lacroix. Lacroix is going to get more points than him this week.
Did you make a transfer, Darius?
Well, I wouldn't have moved him in the first place. But I mean, me and Trig both told you he was a shit pick. But in fairness, yeah, I would. I think if anything, you've got 2.1 in the bank. How much is he? How much have he got? Like, how much is he actually? How much can you sell him for?
He's 5. I think 5.5, maybe 5.4.
I meant Szoboszlai.
Oh, Szoboszlai. I'm not sure, mate. 6.3, something like that.
I reckon. I don't know. I feel like with Gary's team, I'd be a bit risky. I'd probably ditch Foden for Fernandes this week, and I get rid of Szoboszlai.
I'll be honest. Unless Tavernier's out for a month, I'd prefer to get rid of Szoboszlai than Tavernier.
Tavernier has had about.
He's
had about 20 hamstring injuries in his career, and the least amount of time he's missed has been 3 weeks. I think it's either 3, 4, or 5 weeks every time he gets one. He's like the new Darren Anderton, whatever his name is, the old Tottenham player. Nobody mentioned that about his injury record before they bought him, did they?
Anyone under 40 will not get that reference at all.
Was it that long ago? Was it?
Yeah, 96.
I wasn't that long ago. I remember Darren Anderton.
Yeah, but you're 40.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. Not yet.
I thought you were 40 the other month.
No.
Well, it's all these hair transplants. It gives the impression that you're older than you are. Although your hair has grown spectacularly. What would you do here, Trig?
Well, you've missed the price rise on Fernandes already, haven't you? So But the question I asked you was, you don't do
Yeah.
early transfers, do you? Right. So
No,
if you
not
don't get
generally.
Fernandez in this week, are you going to wait all the way until deadline next week before you make the swap? Because if you do, Fernandez is going to go up 3 times before you buy
Still
him.
be able to afford it. Still be able to afford it.
And Foden, yeah, but
why waste the money?
why wait?
He's not playing midweek. He's not going to get injured. Like, bring him in.
Lads, I'll give you my do you know, when we were talking about hits and that earlier, right? I honestly think over the course of a season, price rises versus waiting does sort of even itself out, right? I think, but I only think it evens itself out if you stay consistent with doing one or the other. If you start making early moves when you don't, or you start leaving it when you don't, I think you go one way or the other. Because otherwise, you start risking the variance where you might get, like when I got Ekateke and the other, that was my worst transfer of the season. The one early transfer I made was my worst transfer of the season. I know there's not much logic to what I'm saying, but
there is, but it's the wrong logic because not every week's the same and not every example is the same. For example,
I know.
Bringing Fernandez in when he doesn't have a midweek fixture and when you're going to keep him for the entire season gives you a lot more weight to go early than for somebody that you're only going to get for a couple of weeks and has got like a midweek game or whatever, like Ekateke had. Where with Fernandez, you're going to have him for the entire season. So the price you buy him for has a bigger influence on your team for the rest of the season. Like if he goes up another 0.3 before you buy him and Foden drops 0.3, that's massive. You're playing the rest of the season with 500,000 less. And I know that graphic said that that's only going to cost you like 1 point a week, but it's still a point a week for like the next 15 weeks. It still costs you 15 points. Whereas making a transfer now doesn't cost you anything. The worst that can happen is one of them gets injured, and then it can only cost you 4 points, which is a lot less than 15 points, which is going to cost you if you just wait.
Is there any midweek games next week?
It's just
not for Man United, isn't it?
But Bruno's like one of them players. I mean, I know he did get injured like not that long ago, but like that is, I mean, he was out for like 2 weeks. That was it. Like, and like the dude is a freak. I don't know how he survives getting away with not getting injured as much as he does, considering how much football he plays. But if there's one player to move early on, you know he's a nailed. You know he's going to play 90 minutes. He's up.
Is there Champions League football next week?
Yeah, there is. But like that's the thing. That shouldn't influence your decision. You should just be buying.
But okay. So I do nothing this week. I've got 2 free transfers. Now I know this is extreme, but say that, for example, during the week, Saka and Hall, or say I make a transfer this week. Say I get rid of Tavernier and bring Sade in, right? Next week, Saka and Timber get injured midweek. I bought Bruno in for Foden. Then I'm going to have to take a hit.
But you're going to bring Bruno in for Foden regardless, aren't you?
Yeah. So I think that's fine. You would take a hit in that situation anyway, because otherwise you're going to be stuck with Phil Foden, who's probably going to be on the bench. So
like, you've got a massive problem. You've got a massive problem here that you haven't even talked about yet, that you don't even realise you've got, and that is your bench of Lacroix, Tavernier, and Guehi. When there's a good chance Haaland doesn't play, very good chance Haaland doesn't play. There's also a very good chance that Foden doesn't play, and you've got no cover. You can get Lacroix in for Haaland, but what do you do if anyone else is injured, or if Szoboszlai is rested, or Enzo, who's playing tonight in the Champions League, has, Enzo might well not play against Palace, and Saka might not play, and you've got no bench.
Scaremongering, you're scaremongering.
It's not scaremongering; it's a fact. You've got no bench.
He's got Guehi. He's got Guehi.
Yeah, exactly. Guehi and the sheep pick Tavernier.
Do you know what review actually wants me to do this week at the minute? It wants me to upgrade Guehi to, I can't even remember, the Nottingham Forest striker.
Great move. Great move.
But at least he plays.
That's what's going to be recommended. Well, maybe it's thinking the same way as you are, Trig.
Yeah, maybe review realises you've got no bench and that you're in a world of trouble this weekend.
Well, then surely get rid of Tavernier.
Oh, maybe you should get rid of Tavernier. That's a good point, actually.
Maybe.
I mean, you could do him to Anderson now.
No, but he could do Foden to Fernandes now, and then he wouldn't have to worry about Foden getting benched because Bruno's 100% going to be playing, isn't he?
That's true. That's true. I reckon that's your best move, to be honest.
That's why I did it. I was like, I'm sick of this man. If he blanked against Man United, and that was the last straw for me. And I love Foden, but I'd seen enough in that game. I was like, he needs to go. I don't even care if they're playing bloody Leicester City from last season. I still would have sold him.
Because at least you know with Fernandes, you're going to want him anyway. And it means you're saving yourself money, giving yourself one thing less that you have to do next week. Actually improving your team for this week as well, because Foden, he probably will come on for 1 point or whatever. He might even start, but he's only going to play 60 minutes. Whereas at least you can get 90 minutes out of Fernandes this week and have him in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's doable.
Well, we've been going for 2 hours, lads. I know the Chelsea match starts in 10 minutes, Trig. I'm guessing you're probably going to know when to get away for.
9 minutes.
So please join us for the FPL lock-in on Saturday, where me, Trig, and Darius, and I'm hoping Kanji will be joining us. We'll be here to react to how we got on. Please do like and subscribe if you are new around here. Lads, do you want to tell us where we can find you? Trig?
Trig Talks FPL on YouTube. Very good channel. Lots going on. Lots of stuff been put on there this week. I will be doing another video tomorrow probably. Although I'm not making any more transfers this week, so it's not a huge amount to talk about. Probably review the Champions League matches and talk about why Enzo isn't going to start at the weekend against Palace.
Who's doing well out of the content creators apart from Let's Talk FPL Andy?
Who's doing well? Nobody particularly doing well. None of the main big ones.
Okay.
Fran's doing well, if you can call him a big content creator. I think Focal's doing all right as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he always does all right, doesn't he, Focal?
But most of them are hovering around the 100k mark now, kind of making their usual kind of slow move up the table. So I think we're going to find that by the end of the season, everyone will be in the top 100k or thereabouts, apart from Praz, who's having a pretty shocking season, isn't he? An FPL General who doesn't have Haaland, but although not having Haaland is now coming into his favour, isn't it? So
it is.
Well, also,
I think Praz will be
FPL
fine.
D-Unit probably won't get in there as well.
Oh, mate, Gary, I reckon I'm going to be finishing above you, mate. I'll just be looking over your shoulder because I'm coming. I've been coming for the last 5-6 weeks. I'm 2 to 3 advantage.
It's not Saturday. We don't have to do the wind-up stuff.
I'm hoping Salah. I'm hoping Salah really sparks up because I think that could make it interesting because that would sway me towards getting rid of Haaland if Salah was backfiring. That would make me brave enough to make the switch. And it would give you like another million odd in the bank, wouldn't it, as well? Probably, is it 2 million difference almost between those two now, probably?
No, so Salah, I think's down. I think I could be wrong. He might be down to 14, or it's either 14.1 or 14. And Haaland's obviously 15.1 currently. So there's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, and you'd lose half of it when you sold him, wouldn't you, as well?
I did fail to mention, I don't think, Kieran, you are in Trig's league that he looks in. But of course, Trig, Kieran, FPL Discomfort from the Double Pivot, is the top content creator in the world. I think he is 1,200. Tell us if you're wrong, Kieran. And I believe also Double Pivot is starting at 8:35. But tell me if you're wrong, Kieran. Sorry, mate. I have trouble looking at the chat when there's so many people in there. Darius, do you want to tell us where we can find your email, mate?
Yeah, just on FPL D_unit. We'll be back for the live watch songs. I'm thankfully this week, last week of the school holidays, we've got 2. We've got one on Saturday with 3 or 4 games or whatever, and then obviously on Sunday we've got there's I think 3 or so games on at 9 p.m. Then there's also the Manchester United Arsenal game on Monday night as well. So I'm going to finish with a bang before I have to go back to some version of reality on Tuesday morning when I go back to work officially.
Yeah, and you're going to be letting us know on the weekly basis if you can make the old podcast. So, yeah, all right. Thank you, everyone. Good luck for this game week. Please do join us on Saturday for the lock-in. It's going to be quite weird next week. It's a possibility we're going to have Jack Redditor. Do you guys know who I mean? The host and fantasy football scout. There's also a possibility we may have FPL Mate on. I'm yet to confirm with him. It's going to be
the host of Hub, you mean?
Yeah, the host. He's got a channel called Redditor, which has got 600,000 subscribers. He's bigger than any YouTube subscriber. Sorry, FPL channel. But anyway, join us next week for that, and we will be here with people. Apparently, Double Pivot is on at 9:15 p.m. Okay, cheers, everyone. Have a good game week. Enjoy the Chelsea game. We'll see you on Saturday.
Yep. Cheers, people.